13th of June. Don't forget, there's more analysis of the day's main stories on Newsnight. And there's Kirsty, just going on air as we speak on BBC Two. Here on BBC One, well, there we are. All our colleagues in the nations and regions, all of them standing by right now with the news where you are. So stay with us. But from the 10 team, thank you for watching and good night.
Thanks, Hugh. Tonight on Look North. A court hears a teenage boy died after a campaign of torture by his mother and her partner. And a group who survived child sexual abuse at a Yorkshire priest training school tell the Pope about their experiences. Good evening and thanks for joining us. A mother and stepfather have gone on trial accused of murdering her 15-year-old son in Huddersfield. Leeds Crown Court was told that Sebastian Kalinowski died after weeks, if not months, of cruel abuse. Our Home Affairs correspondent Emma Glasby has been following the case today and a warning that her report contains distressing details.
The court was told today that in his final weeks, 15-year-old Sebastian Kalinowski was abused and assaulted in such a way it would be no exaggeration to describe it as torture. Sebastian's mother, Agnieszka Kalinowska, and her partner, Andrzej Lataszewski, both deny murder. Today, as the trial got underway here in Leeds, the jury was shown CCTV footage from the house in Huddersfield. CCTV, the jury was told, that was installed to monitor and exert control over Sebastian, but it was that system that recorded his abuse. One video showed Sebastian crying out as he's dragged from a chair out of shot, and then there are the sounds of an apparent beating. Another video, the prosecution said, showed Sebastian's mother repeatedly hitting him. Prosecutor Jason Pitter QC said Sebastian's reaction is telling and sad. He seemed to display no emotion, but merely put his headphones back on and reverted to looking at his laptop. The court was told he'd be punished for dropping food on the floor or for having gone to the toilet in the night. The prosecution said he was in effect compliant, his will perhaps having been broken, not disclosing to anyone what was going on in the confines of his home. Now, when emergency services were called to his home in August 2021, Sebastian had already been unconscious for 2.5 hours. Both defendants deny murder. The trial will continue tomorrow and is expected to last for 7 weeks.
Emma Glasby there. A man from Hebden Bridge who was sexually abused by priests as a child has met today. Bede Mullen endured repeated abuse at a priest training school in Merfield in the 1960s and 70s. Today, Pope Francis said he would ask the order that ran the college to meet with Bede and other survivors. Matthew Richards reports.
Bede was 11 when he was abused by a priest at St Peter Claver College, a former junior seminary in Merfield. In 2014, the order which ran the seminary made a financial settlement with survivors, but didn't admit liability. Bede says the hardest thing to overcome has been the reluctance of the Comboni missionaries to acknowledge survivors' stories and meet them face to face, something Pope Francis has decided to do himself.
It's a unique occasion because he doesn't see that many direct survivors of clerical sexual abuse. In one way, it is a tremendous honour to meet him. And another, it's a sad indictment on the church that we have to go to the principal leader of the church to get any satisfaction.
Last year, the Comboni missionary said, "We acknowledge the harm caused by child abuse and have publicly apologised for any abuse suffered by former seminarians. We've worked hard to respond with seriousness and sensitivity to the complaints and claims made." The survivors did receive an apology from the current Bishop of Leeds, Marcus Stock, and today he accompanied them as Pope Francis heard how they'd been affected by their struggle for justice.
I'm pleased to know that the Holy Father's taken a personal interest in the particular concerns of the group and that he's undertaken to make representations to the leadership of the order in order to get the kind of response, the pastoral response, that the survivors are looking for.
Despite taking their case to the very top, this is far from the end of the group's journey. While Pope Francis has strengthened sanctions against abusive priests, the group wants better safeguarding so that no one else endures what they did. The Catholic Safeguarding Standards Agency says it's actively engaged with the survivors and with representatives of the order to bring them together to address their concerns. The men who visited the Vatican today joined the seminary with childhood dreams of one day joining the priesthood. Instead, their mentors became tormentors. Bede and his fellow survivors hope that today's meeting with Pope Francis is one small step on a road towards real change in the Church. Matthew Richards, BBC Look North, Rome.
And tonight, members of a Ukrainian ballet group have arrived in York ahead of their first UK performance. The Kiev City Ballet were welcomed with a civic reception a little earlier. Their sellout show at York Theatre Royal begins tomorrow, and all the money from the ticket sales is going to UNICEF's Ukraine Appeal.
Yeah, so 100% of the proceeds from the show go to UNICEF's, particularly to UNICEF's work with children in Ukraine. So, you know, we hope that by the end of tomorrow night we'll have raised £35,000 for kids in Ukraine, which is fantastic.
Oh, good luck to them. Right then, Paul, it looks like the weather's about to improve.
A lovely week to come, warming up. Peak heat on Friday. We could be around 29 degrees on Friday afternoon. But the thing that's going to be noticeable is the wind's going to drop out a bit. It's been a nuisance over the last few days, but tomorrow, lighter winds, some sunshine. It's going to feel warm. This is Tuesday's chart. High pressure beginning to dominate, fewer isobars, so a very pleasant day indeed. And it's fine out there at the moment. All of us are dry with clear spells. The afternoon cloud will melt away to a certain extent, just an odd shower perhaps across the Yorkshire Dales, and we'll see lowest temperatures around 8 or 9 degrees. So a lovely start in the morning. All of us will be dry and bright with some sunshine, with the exception again of the odd shower across the Yorkshire Dales. Variable cloud into the afternoon with some sunshine, but crucially less of a breeze, just a light west or southwesterly. Temperatures reaching 21 Celsius, very close to average for this time of the year. Let's have a look at that further outlook. Lots of sunshine in the coming week. Peak heat on Friday. Look at that, but temperatures crashing back down in time for Saturday. That's forecast.
Barbecue weather
Yes.
at last. That's all from us. Good night.